Hi everyone and welcome back to One Autistic Person. This is the 16th video that I'm doing in a 50 video series that is looking at the questions and statements within the Autism Quotient. If you don't know, the Autism Quotient is a diagnostic tool that is used for pre-screening as part of the autism assessment quite often. And it looks at things as a deficit, as we need to when looking for an autism diagnosis. And what I wanted to do with these videos was really look and see whether there was any way of flipping that narrative, and rather than looking at them as a deficit, looking at them as a positive, or if there's no positive to be found, then we can look at what mitigations and adjustments we can potentially put in place. And I'd love people to comment on these videos so that they can share their experiences and how they how they feel that these things are a benefit to them. Or also if you have any adjustments or mitigations that you put in place for these things. I will apologise, I'm recording this video today because I've actually ran out of videos that I pre-recorded. I have been really poorly both with my mental health and my physical health over the last week or so. So this is kind of a rushed video, but I want to make sure that I'm getting them out daily. So I apologise for my appearance. I know I look a bit scraggy, and if my voice keeps going or anything like that, or I seem a little bit different to what I am in some of my other videos, it's just because of that. So, with that out of the way, the 16th question on the Autism Quotient is: I tend to have very strong interests which I get upset about if I can't pursue. And for me, this is definitely agree. So I have various different special interests that I have, strong interests that I have. So. One of them being The Sims. I've said this in many videos. I've referred to it many times. I can quite easily play 20 hours plus solid of The Sims, and I do get very dysregulated if I'm not able to play it. I've actually, because I've been quite poorly, haven't actually had the chance to play it in a few weeks actually, and I feel quite upset about the fact that I have, and so I do have that feeling. It's the same with I have a special interest in rollercoasters, so if I don't get to be able to go to a theme park a few times a year at least, different theme parks, then I will get stressed about the fact that I haven't done that. Doctor Who is another strong interest of mine, to the point of where I will theorise and look into the back history of Doctor Who, into the classic Doctor Who, which I've not got as big an interest in. I have watched quite a bit of it now, but it is more new era Doctor Who from 2005 onwards. But I love making connections between things in that, and looking at the deeper into the characters, and looking at, I've got various different books that I love looking at the background of the whole universe, the whole Whoniverse, as they call it. Battlestar Galactica is another one that I like to watch all of those quite repetitively. I mean, quite constantly throughout the year. I will continue to watch them over and over again. And then I also have I also have a special interest in history, so I like to do a lot of research into history, so especially around, as I've mentioned in previous videos, around females that have gone through social injustice in previous eras. I also really enjoy space, and when I was a kid, some of these have been there since I was a child, like a deep interest in space. I was extremely upset if I wasn't able to read through to look through and read through my books on space. When I was a kid, I used to come home and I'd go through them. I also had a very strong interest in Goosebumps books when I was younger. So I used to come home and I used to sit with my Goosebumps books, and I used to rub the front of them because they've got bubbles on them. So I used to rub the front, and I used to have a look at the different colours on them. And I got quite upset when they changed the way that they looked, because they went from having sort of like a picture coming out of the bubbles to there being a sort of an archway in the bubbles, and I got really upset that they changed that. I got used to it eventually, but yeah, so there were those things, and throughout my time, I also have a really strong interest in Discworld, Terry Pratchett's Discworld, and I collected every single one of the books, but also the films and the miniseries, and also Claire Craft is a pottery sort of company, and they did all of the characters were done in as clay figurines, and I had all of those. I also remembered another one the other day that in my late teens, early 20s, or through my 20s, probably for about 10 years, I would constantly spend loads of money on buying a new phone. I needed to have the new phone, but it wasn't, and I'm not really interested in that anymore. It doesn't really bother me, and I think it's because I used to be interested in the different colours and because it always used to be about a showy phone, and it was so I always had those. That I had that quite a lot when I probably would change my phone every 2 or 3 months, and I got myself into a bit of trouble money wise because of doing that, which is obviously a big downfall if these things do cost you money. So I suggest trying not to get into something that's going to cost you a huge amount of money if you can't. The good thing about this is we become experts in the field of those things that we're interested in. We might info dump on people, but we also are able to give people a lot of information, and I think if we find the right outlets for that, then that's great. So if we can join groups where we can help, it can really help with our socialization to find people with similar special interests to what we have, and because we're so strongly focused on it, and it can really help sort of social situations and allow us to be maybe in groups of people who maybe are also autistic and who have similar interests, or we can help people out if people are asking questions quite often online. Maybe we'll be able to give them lots of information and be helpful. And I think if people are anything like me, I like being helpful to people. So if somebody wants information about something, I love being able to give them information because I'm info dumping. So if you seek out those places where you can do that, or the other thing is as well, you could be very lucky and have and go into a job which is related to your special interest. I always wanted to work at a theme park, specifically Alton Towers, because Alton Towers was my first theme park that I went to. It was the first place where I started to be interested in roller coasters, and I really wanted to work at a theme park. I realised that actually working at a theme park would be extremely bad for my social anxiety, and looking back on it, it probably really wouldn't have worked for me, even though I would have loved the fact that I was working on the roller coasters. I don't think it would have been good for me socially to have done that. But it was something that I was adamant that that's what I was going to do. I was going to work in Alton Towers. But instead, what I do is visit there as regularly as I possibly can and just research the roller coasters as much as I can. So yeah, there are positives on this, and it's like I say, if you're lucky enough to be able to work in an environment where it's beneficial to you, because my job it kind of did become my special interest, but I think I kind of, from a numbers perspective, because I have special interests in things like spreadsheets and tracking information, and I love creating charts and seeing patterns in where figures are going. So as much as I struggle with the social elements of my job, the financial aspects of it, I love focusing on those and looking at how change can be made because of the fact that I've created information and given different outlets for information. So I have kind of used my special interest in numbers over my career. So yeah, if you can find an outlet for it, and it also allows us to to build relationships that we may find difficult elsewhere. So as long as we find the right people, then it can actually create quite strong bonds with the people around us, which we can obviously sometimes struggle with. So that would be what I would say around special interests, and the fact that they make us happy. You know, I am never happier than when I'm playing The Sims. I'm in my own little world, and I am absolutely loving it. So that's the other positive as well, is they actually make us really happy. That's the reason why we're really strongly invested in them. So yeah, that's my take on this one. Like I say, I apologise if I haven't been as... my brain's very foggy, so I apologise if this video is not like the others. I'm not sure whether it will be or not, but if you could comment, like I say, that would be great, because I really would like it to become a community of people talking about how they see things positively, or what adjustments and mitigations they put in place. That would be great. Obviously, if you could subscribe, share, like, I would be really, really grateful for that as well. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.